Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So in this video I'm going to start slowly working through some things I recently got in Sephora. Not all of it was gotten during the sale, but like 90% of it was, and I'm not saying it's a full face, it's literally just like 2 or 3 products. But one of the things I wanted to definitely use in today's video, which I know it's super late and this palette is pretty much effectively sold out, but I still wanted to, of course, use a video with the new Patrick Ta Face palette. This released pretty much right around the time that I was getting LASIK, and I'm just getting around to it now. I'm sure you've seen on the internet people posting, oh my god, look what Sephora just gave me, I never even ordered any of this, and like there's like a bunch of stuff and everybody's always like, wow, wish that could be me. Well, it did finally happen to me, not in a really spectacular manner, but when I opened my order, I had gotten my Makeup by Mario bronzing balm, and you can see I got it in the shade Light, and this, complete with the sticky note, was also sitting in the box. Now I don't know what the sticky note number means. Maybe it was like an order number or something like that, something that they internally were using to track something. The product's completely untouched, and it's in the shade Light Medium, so I'm gonna see which shade I prefer, because I did get a DM from someone saying that the light medium shade is actually a little bit more neutral in tone, so I may like it better. And then I did receive additional FLORASIS PR. I got the fan palette. It is right here. It's very beautiful, and this is in the most recent color, not the limited edition ones. I wish I could get those, but it's in the most recent permanent one, which definitely is a really pretty palette that totally caught my eye. And then I'll use the sparkle toppers on top of that. So literally it's just like 3 new products as far as I can tell. I do have my other Sephora sale items in like the Nessa Marix like Works 5 and stuff like that, but that will be in the next video. I am going to start with my base. I don't actually have my base done today, so this video might be a little bit longer. So I'm first going to use my Dominique Cosmetics primer. I also did receive some brushes from Refer, which thank you very much, Refer, as always, for sending them to me. No, I will completely admit that I am not the best at doing like product specific content creation. Like there's a lot of other content creators out there who, when stuff releases, they'll make videos that are very specifically about the thing, and obviously that is much better for a brand because that means that the product gets a lot more focused, they go a lot more in depth, and especially for channels that know a lot more about brushes than I do, they can be really, really helpful for consumers. So I totally understand why, it's obviously in the company's benefit to send PR to channels who actually like make quality content about products, really detailed and whatnot. So I always am very appreciative of Refer's generosity by including me. I have asked them before, like, is there anything specific you want from me? Because I feel really bad that I'm like not like, going super in detail or anything. I don't upload as often as other people can, but they have always told me, hey, we just really appreciate, just that you're using the brushes in your videos, and whatever brushes you honestly like, keep on using. Whatever brushes you honestly don't like, we take your criticism very seriously. So, you don't need to do anything for us. It's just, if you want to keep using them in your videos, keep using them in your videos. We do really appreciate it, and I just really like that they understand and are able to accommodate me in that way, so always super happy about that. Now I'm going to use my eye primer, which I'm just going to use this Bobbi Brown one as always. I was like, how like Jacqueline keeps saying, oh, I don't know if my cosmetics brand is going to like continue or not, because who knows, now that Morphe's been bought out by new investors, who knows if they're going to shut down Jacqueline Cosmetics or not. Like, obviously that's all completely up in the air and we probably won't know for quite some time. But I like have been like mildly hoping that there'd be like some huge blowout sale on the website so that I could like buy some of the under eye primers and just spoil myself for a little bit longer, because I still haven't found a proper replacement for it, and if it ever goes on sale again, I may just get like 2 or 3 and use them all until they expire, and then I'll just move, and then hopefully by then something new has come out. Like, I've considered doing that because, especially now that it's winter, I really miss having it. Just gonna try and add some extra hydration to my skin because I'm just so dry. I'm gonna use the Bobbi Brown today. No reason in particular, I just feel like it. This is in the shade Extra Light Bisque, and I think from now on I'm going to start putting my skin type and foundation shade in the description box. I mean, I'll admit it, I thought of it because I saw a Reddit thread where people were discussing it's really frustrating when they don't know that, and I also realized there's a lot of other content creators I follow who have that in their description box at all times, and I don't, and I should probably put that in there. So from now on, I'm going to remember to put that in, and I cannot believe it took me until now to realize that I have never done that. This is something I got from the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. It is the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I got it in the shade Swan. I've been interested in it for quite some time as a foundation, so I finally went ahead and picked it up when it was half off. Like, go on sale on the Too Faced website for like 30% off, 40% off, etc. But it always would either sell out really quickly in the shades I was interested in, or it just, you know, between shipping and the discount not being that high, I just kind of was like, meh. But with it being half off and at Ulta, I was like, okay. In my drive to find a high coverage natural slash satin finished foundation, I realized that something like this might actually just more or less be what I'm looking for, and I really like it. All this time I could have just gotten this and been done, because how long has this been out for now, you know? Years? Yeah, hopefully they don't discontinue it. They've been discontinuing a lot of their really good stuff recently though. And I don't really need very much either, as you can tell. Just a few swipes on either side of my face and I can pull it all the way to my nose, put the rest on my forehead, and I am done. It also matches my undertones really well. It is slightly warm, but it is also, you know, nice and bright without looking pasty white. So it looks really good on me. I've been really enjoying using this lately. I don't know how much I'll be able to use it once it is like winter, because it is not super dewy and I always end up having to go back to really hydrating stuff when in the winter, but as of right now it looks so good. So I have been testing out two new concealers. I got these during Amazon Prime Day, and I've been testing out the SAEM Cover Perfection concealers. I did see Minsko talk about these and she didn't seem to dislike them, so I thought I'd finally go ahead and pick them up on Prime Day when they were on sale. I think they're okay. I definitely think if you're looking for color correctors, these are a really great affordable option, especially because the green one, it's not like a vivid green and it's not a mint green. It's kind of more of like a desaturated sage green. So I think if you, especially if you have olive undertones, this green color corrector might be a lot better for you. It's not going to look as ashy on you. So I do think the corrector shades are very unique, especially the purple one. But at the same time, I feel like using it as an under eye concealer, it's not getting me the kind of coverage that I feel like I prefer, but I want to like thoroughly test it out anyways, because I do intend on making a concealer roundup video someday. It's just that every time I think that I'm going to make it, another concealer comes out that I want to try, and then I'm like, oh, let me just add that to the pile. I also, for like my planned compilation speed review collection videos, whatever, I was really hoping to have B-roll of me applying every single product I talk about, as opposed to me just sitting there talking about it. But for me, that is just an intimidating amount of work to do, especially when you consider that I have issues with low energy and fatigue. That's the other reason I haven't gotten started on it yet, because I just don't know how useful it would be for me to sit there and talk about it. It would be so much better for me to have B-roll, but I don't actually know if I have the physical capability to do it. But let me know your thoughts. If I didn't have B-roll, would you still watch it? Like, just let me know. That's my under eyes right now. You can see when I look down, you can really see that tear trough, but from the front it looks alright. I'm going to take an eyeshadow brush and use my powder foundation, which is from Urban Decay. I saw Yes Style listed a collaboration with Sanrio and Bare Minerals, and it includes the mineral powder foundation and the pressed one and the mineral veil with a Kuromi or a My Melody cover. And I was like, oh no, I had no clue this was happening, and I want it so bad, the Kuromi ones. But then I saw the price and I was like, you know, maybe on second thought. Pretty sure it's gonna be Asia exclusive, but like, I actually used to use the mineral veil and the pressed powder foundation, and I had almost panned it before I ultimately just got rid of it. They're really cute. I mean, lucky that it's not Hello Kitty, because then it would have just been like, okay, I'm just burning a hole in my wallet right now. It was Kuromi, which usually makes me want to burn a hole in my wallet, but it was like mermaid Kuromi themed, so I'm like still able to hold back, but I don't know, man. I don't know. So the powder foundation really helps to conceal the tear troughs a little bit more, but as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but there is a little bit of dryness because my under eyes are just really dry, so I'm going to do another layer of setting spray. I kind of want to try the new D'Alba sprays. I've heard they're like really hydrating. I'm not sure. This one is hydrating, but it's more of a makeup setting spray than anything else. I'm so scatterbrained right now. I had my tilt table test yesterday, and it was very unpleasant, and I'm still kind of recovering fatigue wise. Like, it's like, you know, it triggered my symptoms, and so I'm kind of still waiting for them to tamp down. I mean, it was fine, like it was good that I went, it just is suffering to go. I have an Instagram post where I go more into depth about how I feel about the whole situation. If you want to read that, you're welcome to, but I'm not going to go into detail on it over here in this video because I am too lazy to repeat myself. I'm going to put on some eye primer, and today I'm still gonna keep using my SUQQU eye primer. I'm still testing this out. I feel like there's like a balancing act between applying too little and applying too much. It's weird though, because my first ever usage of it, I absolutely loved it, but my subsequent uses, it feels like I can't seem to use it right. Okay, next is going to be my eyebrows. I'm going to use the Precisely My Brow pencil in the shade Cool Gray. I'm probably going to skim through this pretty quickly in post just because it's eyebrows. I don't generally need to show those in too... I don't necessarily need to show those in too much detail. And this shade that I got, it's on the lighter side. I used to get Precisely My Brow in like the black shade, and I didn't really like it. I do prefer this Cool Gray on me. This more or less got usurped by the S-Bar Brow Balance. The only reason I still have it is just obviously to finish it. And then I'm going to use the Brow Flick. My pencil job was a little bit rough today, but that's okay. Yeah, the top of my left eyebrow in particular is kind of rough, but we'll just leave it at that. And then I have been trying to remember brow gel more often because it really does look nice on me and it makes my eyebrows look a lot better. So I'm going to use my Boy Brow, and it is in the shade Black. I found this at TJ Maxx a while back. I know they're on Sephora now though, so if you do want to get Glossier, you can get them from Sephora now, which I frequently don't ever want enough from their website to qualify for free shipping, so buying from Sephora is very convenient, and one of the Sephoras by my house does have it in store now. But yeah, this is a TJ Maxx Boy Brow. I don't know if that means the formula has since changed. I've heard some of their formulas have kind of been changed under the table. I don't know though, obviously, how true any of that would be. So I do like this, but I don't know if Boy Brow still functions like this or if this is the true Boy Brow formula. Like, nobody knows these things. So I'm going to start with the FLORASIS palette. I think the name is actually on the back. It's just in Chinese, and my Chinese is abysmal because of the fact that the number 2 is right here, and this is the color 02. So I'm pretty sure that this on the back is the name of the product. It's just not in English. But it is the fan palette. It's probably one of their most recognizable products. It's like, if you saw this, you probably know what it is if you have social media. The fan palette is going to be one of their most recognizable products that they've really marketed the most heavily. I never was really interested in the first one just because, like, I thought it was pretty, but I wasn't going to buy it if I'm not going to actually use the colors inside. Then they released 02 and I was like, whoa, I want this. But I never got around to buying it, mostly just because of budget reasons. I mean, like, your girl's just been like drowning in medical bills this year. I mean, not like drowning, that's a poor choice of words. It's just my makeup budget has gone from like this to accommodate for that, essentially, you know. I'm definitely still much more fortunate than a lot of other people, and I you know, completely and readily acknowledge that, so I try not to complain about it too much, but that's just the reality of the situation. So anyways, back to this palette. I love how desaturated the tones are. This definitely was more of a me color scheme. After I made my first video talking about FLORASIS, I was asked if I wanted to try anything else from the brand, and I was like, yeah, I do. And so they were like, okay, yeah, we'll send you some more products. And then they said one of the products they were sending to me is this fan palette, and I was like, oh, I actually have been really wanting to try that, so thank you. So this was sent to me in PR again. I know FLORASIS is a very polarizing brand. I do think they are a smidgen overpriced for what they are, but at the same time they are very beautiful, and personally their eyeshadows are not bad from what I've tried so far, but I do think you have to have a very specific preference, and they pretty much never do sales, and I believe this is like $55 to $59, so you also have to like really want it. And I do have an affiliate link and an affiliate code, but it's not gonna get you too much, so you're welcome to use it, but I think it only gets you like 5% off, like every $100 or something. Like, it's not super generous. But yeah, it's in the description box if you're interested. So I am starting off with darker brown, and I know that these two shades down here are face shades, but I may use them on my eyes. I'll see, and if I decide I need to use them on my face, I will, but I was hoping to mostly use my Makeup by Mario. So yeah, I just, you know, I don't want to seem like I'm like trying to kiss FLORASIS up in the butt or anything like that. I'm not. I'm being completely honest. If I didn't like their products, I would have said so, and then they would have gotten mad at me and I would have been like, fine. Now, I've not tried everything from them, so I can't say for sure on everything. Okay, this dark brown is way more pigmented than the shades in the Phoenix palette. That went much further than I thought it would. And I'm just using a dense domed Sigma firm blender. If I could hire my cats to do one thing to pay the rent, it would be I would want them to wash my brushes. Realistically speaking, if my cats could wash my brushes, they'd wash them by licking them, which is disgusting, now that I think about it. The shade is not too powdery. It's a little bit powderier than other shades I've used from the brand, but it's not too bad. This is a lot more pigmented than the Phoenix palette. I was just about to say, if you don't like sheerer, more wash of color-ish kind of shadows, then FLORASIS isn't for you, but this brown arrived. Okay, this is going to be the 14 Max. I like how the font is super big. And I'm just going to use this to blend it out really quickly because I put on too much. I did get a comment on one of my videos that I uploaded Saturday of somebody mentioning that they have refer brushes, but for some reason they can never get like really opaque layers of pigment with them. And that made me realize that, you know, now that I really think about it, I don't actually use my refer brushes to pack on pigment often at all. And I should have said that. It never crossed my mind to say that because I don't think about my habits, right? I habitually tend to use my refer brushes to layer, apply into precise areas, and blend. I don't actually use it to do things like packing on a lot of shadow. I also just don't often do looks where I am packing on a lot of shadow. Those kinds of really intense, vivid looks where you're really packing shades all over the eyelid. I just don't actually do those that often. For as colorful as my looks tend to get, I'm actually not packing on shadow at max opacity too often. And it's definitely something I really want to change. Like, I do want to be able to be more bold and less of a chicken, but it just kind of made me realize that I don't want to convince anybody to buy refer brushes only for them to be disappointed when they try to use it to pack shadows and it doesn't work, and then they feel like they wasted their money. So I'd like to just add in this statement really quickly. I actually don't really think refer makes the best packing brushes on the market. So if you want packing brushes that are natural hair that really just get the pigment on, then you actually are going to be better off going and looking at Hakuhodo and Sonia G. I also have like one random packing brush from Koyudo that I got from foodbeauty.com, which, courtesy of Lexi Jong, thank you for introducing to that website. It's a great place to get stuff. They often do have brushes that have very, very limited runs, so it's a really great place to go. And so I have like one or two from Koyudo that I also really, really like. So if you want natural hair Japanese made brushes for packing pigment, I would say go with those as opposed to refer. But if you just want like general multi-purpose, jack of all trade, master of none, or if you want blending, or if you want like the best pencil brush on the planet, then definitely refer is good for that. To the person who left that comment, thank you for leaving that comment. That really definitely had me think a little bit harder, and I am really glad that you brought that up. I am so excited that this brush exists because if you've ever watched any of my other videos, you have probably seen me make this mistake multiple times where I apply shadow to my lower lash line and I get it all over the place. I am so excited for this brush. This is the 13 Mini, and look how small it is. This is going to be a new go-to lower lash line brush for me. So I'm going to take that same dark brown and I'm going to use this on the lower lash line. And I also do like how this brush is not scratchy, and because it's a refer brush, it's not too soft either, such that it's flimsy, which can also make the shadow go everywhere. It's a little bit stiffer. I think Refer's pencil brushes and pencil adjacent brushes are some of the best pencil brushes on the market, just period. The other ones that I really like are from Hakuhodo. That is the perfect precise application. I'm so happy. And this is going to be a longer video just because I am talking about some things I think are worth talking about. I'm going to use the 15 Max because I want to have a blown out well blended look, and I'm going to go into this. I believe is meant to be like a face shade, but I'm going to use it as an eye shade. I think that's completely fine, so I'm just going to take it on my brush. These are a little bit more powdery feeling than the Phoenix one. They definitely don't feel full on powder, like I'm not getting like a ton of kickback or anything like that, but they do feel a little bit more powdery than the Phoenix one did, so that might explain the difference in pigmentation that I'm getting. And so I'm just going to use this to delicately blend out the edges. I'm not going to use this on my, I thought for a second I was going to use this on my lower lash line, and I was like, wait, hold on here. Here is the beautiful palette. As you can see, the cream products are covered, which is good because when mine arrived, some of the eyeshadow had kind of spread. Nothing broke, thankfully. So I'm going to start off with this purple shade right here. I think I'm gonna not use this for now. I don't really actually like these kinds of shades, like the reddy, pinky yellow kind of shift, which is why I never got Tom Ford Cherry Smoke. Oh yeah, okay. Let me tap some of that off because I don't need that much, I don't think. My one concern about pairing this with warmer toned shadows is that these are not warm. That looks a lot more red and kind of coolish than I was expecting. Hold on, I'm gonna have to swatch these. Oh, these are loosely pressed. These are giving me Pat McGrath Baked Shades vibes. But they're even more loosely pressed, but they have a very similar finish, especially these last two. Total Pat McGrath vibes. Okay, you can see this one. I thought it would be more of like a pink to gold, like warm, but it's actually a lot more cool. Well, I'm always open to surprises, so I'm actually going to use that shade I said I wasn't going to use. Start using it. These feel so loosely pressed in the pan though, it's crazy, so definitely they'll pick up fine with a brush. So I'm just going to spread out what's on my eyelid now. That is very pretty. These have basically no base pigment. The color is all in the reflex themselves. They'll go well with whatever you want to stick underneath them, although I would recommend you use cooler shades underneath them than warmer ones. Which makes sense because the two pinks in here are both cooler / neutral pink. The mica chunks are slightly larger than standard shimmers, so I can like just take my fingernail and kind of flick it off, and it does come off. I'm gonna use this shade here, this one. Corner. I am using a Sonia G brush. This looks like a flat packing brush, but the bristles are actually very, very flimsy and soft, so this is not good for like packing. I'm just using it because I wanted to get kind of a lighter application. Wow, that's really, really pretty. I will be curious to see if these hard pan over time because I did touch them with my fingers, so. Okay, so I'm going to take that pink that I was going to use, and I'm going to use that on the lower lash line. So I'm going to take a Rephr 02 Mini. This is another lower lash line brush that I think has good potential for me, and I'm going to take that pink shade on the lower lash line for the middle. Okay, wow, I accidentally picked up too much. So you can see though that these two shades are not super different looking. Yeah, you can see how similar they look when I apply them this way. Okay, well the bottom row is not identical at the very least, but the top two pinks are very similar. I'm gonna use the 02 to apply a little bit more to the inner corner. This is the shade I use. I'm using the same shade on the inner corner, I'm just adding another layer. Okay, I am going to go back into this for blush, but I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side now. I'm going to use the Viseart Dark Edit, which is right here. I haven't used this in a really long time because I am an embarrassment. So I'm going to take the darker shades in this palette and I'm going to use them to add some depth. I'm going to use the 02 again. I'm going to kind of mix the dark brown and the dark eggplant because the dark brown is a little bit too warm for what I'm going for, and the dark eggplant is going to be a little bit too purple. So I think if I just use light amounts of both, I'll get the depth I want. I think this is definitely one of Viseart's better palettes. A lot of the palettes they released in the past 2 to 3 years have all been so light. I had Viseart on my radar, but they never really released anything again that caught my eye. You can see that by mixing the brown and the eggplant, I got the perfect darkening shade, and the redder tones in the eggplant actually work really well with the red tones of the sparkly eyeshadow. I think Dark Edit, it was discontinued for a while. You couldn't get it anymore, but I've seen it back in stock. So I am going to put on some mascara and I'll be right back. I do actually finally have lash glue in, but I think with this look, if I just use mascara, I think it should be fine. I'm gonna do my mascara off camera and then I'll be back. You know how sometimes if you buy a product that's been out for a while on the Korean market, and then it arrives, you'll realize that it is probably pretty old. This mascara is kind of dry because it's not performing at all like I remember it performing, and I think Yes Style sent me like a really old kind, and now I'm really sad. Ooh, it's like sold out practically everywhere, so that means it got discontinued. That means it is old, so I definitely must have gotten sent something that's like dried out. You know, that really sucks that it got freaking— this is why you should never make Korean products your holy grails. It used to be that products would stick around for a while. Okay, this is my one gripe with Korean makeup right now. Stuff gets released and then gets discontinued after like a year and a half. It's like nothing is truly permanent anymore. You could find your new holy grail foundation and it'll be either reformulated or gone within the year. Like, I swear that, okay, I will have to say, that super bothers me. I guess it had to happen to me eventually. I have heard of people getting mascaras on Yes Style and they arrive dried out. I'm gonna start applying the blush, which I know my look ended— I was going for a warm eyeshadow look, but I'm glad it didn't end up being as warm as I hoped for, because now that I think about it, the blush is not warm. So I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm gonna use the blush. I'm going to start off with the darker pink. This is what I get for using too big of a brush. I smeared some of the gold into the pan. I just made a mess. It happens. Jackson! So I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I'm going to use the 107, which is also not— it's more of like a powder brush, I think. It is smaller. Yeah, I'm definitely glad my eyeshadow ended up not going as warm as I was going for, because if I had gone that warm, this blush would clashing even more than it is. So I'm going to go into the lighter pink one now. Curious to see how this works to blend it out. Generally speaking, I do actually really like his cream blush formula now that I have these BK Beauty brushes. I swear the BK Beauty brushes just make every cream and liquid product suddenly— I love them, so I'm really glad I discovered BK Beauty this year. Definitely want to get more from them in the future. I'm going to take the lighter pink and I'm going to use that to kind of set everything down. And then I'm going to use a teeny weeny amount of the darker one. But after the first holiday palette, those all came out as singles, so hopefully with the reception of this one— I think the reception of this one has been better, so hopefully that means that more will come out. I totally didn't just put on like way too much freaking blush, and I haven't used powder yet, so I can always use powder to tone it down, but I also do tend to go a little bit heavier on blush when I want to show off and showcase the demonstration of it, make sure you guys know what the colors look like. So very pretty, very pink. If you're not into super pink blush, then obviously this is not for you. Okay, so my camera crashed, and it crashed pretty much right as I was finishing applying my Makeup by Mario bronzing balm. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I got sent 2 shades, so I only got light, but I got sent light medium in addition to that by mistake, which not my problem, so I'm happy to have both. Here you can see that light is a lot warmer than light medium, so I tried light medium today, and you can see that especially with the blush being cooler, the light medium still has a little bit of warmth in it, so the warmth did get pulled through a little bit, but it looked really good. It goes on pretty sheer, which is in line with what other people have said and kind of in line with the marketing as well. It's not so much a bronzer so much as it's almost like it just kind of is like a dimension adder or like a skin adjuster, and it definitely lives up to that claim. I do feel like this is a pretty unique product, all things considered, so I am very happy I have these. I'm gonna experiment with both before deciding which one I want to keep. Whichever one I don't want, my sister has already done the whole like give, so of course she'll get that. And then on top of all of that, I used my Kogendo Brightening Moisture Powder, which is just one of my favorite powders to use during the winter, because I get very powder picky during this fall and winter. It's getting drier and colder, so a lot of powders I indulge in during the summer and spring when it's humid, I do have to stop using, because otherwise my skin gets really dried out. And then I topped it all off with a generous helping of the Alba setting spray, and that's going to be where we are at right now. So I'm very sorry that the application foundation got cut out, but you can definitely see that it is very beautiful. It did not take me very long to apply. It was very easy to use, and I'm looking forward to continuing to play around with it. So now I'm gonna do highlighter, and that's kind of where the video cut out, was when I was thinking about which highlighter to use. I told Jackson that if he ever wants to be on my lap while I'm filming, he has to pay rent by showing up on camera. So here he is. I love being on camera. This is your favorite thing in the whole wide world. You gotta look at the camera. Are you gonna look at the camera? You gotta say hi to the camera. This is so old. I don't know if you can get this anymore, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pull for this. I'm going to use this shade in the Hourglass highlighting palette, which I've had this for a very long time. And I'm going to use this pinkier shade today. I was thinking of using a more glittery highlighter because the eyeshadow is glittery, but I'm gonna use this first as like a base highlighter shade. Sometimes if I use only a glittery highlighter, it kind of looks a little bit strange on me, but if I use a more smooth highlighter first, then the glitter on top looks nice. Hourglass highlighters truly are something else. I'm not getting any of the face palettes from this year just because, I don't know, I feel like I like my Hourglass collection. There is one face palette from Hourglass that I decluttered that I kind of regret decluttering because there is no way for me to get it back. So if something similar to that ever releases ever again, I'll get that. But in the meantime, nothing has really caught my eye. The bronzer shades in the palettes released this year were all just not for me. So I ended up just kind of being like, well, I'll just skip it. Especially when the price went up to $90. I was like, you know what? I think not. The first thing that came to mind was the Fenty Beauty highlighter in Rosé Rave, so I'm gonna use this as a highlighter topper. And it does look dark in the pan, but again, these Diamond Bombs have virtually no base pigment to them, so they just are super glittery. So my favorite one obviously is How Many Carats. It's the most kind of versatile one. I do have both the gold one and this one, but those get used a lot less often. I did discover though I don't really like using these on my nose, so I'm not gonna do that. I think I'm gonna use the Victoria Beckham eyeliner in Ash. Definitely not a warm eyeliner by any means, but I didn't want to use black either. They're very creamy too. I'm very spoiled by how creamy these are. I'm not gonna put them in my waterline today. Okay, so I put a little bit more on this eye than on that eye. This is where you can go overboard so easily with eyeliner, but... And all that's left for me is the lips, so I'm going to line my lips and then I'll put on a lipstick of some kind. Okay, I used a lip liner and I'm going to use something kind of pink. So this went from being a warm toned look to a cool tone look. It is what it is. So I think I might have a shade I can use. I initially wasn't going to use this because I thought it wouldn't work for this look because I was going to do warm. So I got the shade 13 from the YSL Candy Stick, which they never put the actual shade names on it. It's on the box. I got this in Flashing Rosé. I wish they would actually put like the text on the bottom. I mean, come on, YSL, you can afford it. This should work. Oh, I thought it would be pinker than it is. I really want that cocoa shade too, but I was like, I only really have money for one. So I have 4 shades now, which I've acquired over the course of several months. Probably, I think I could have used a different shade, but I do like how this shade is a very nice balance of pink and nude, so to speak. So it doesn't really lean one way or another because my look kind of goes both ways too. So I actually think this works really well. So yeah, as you can see, I had a bang disaster. Like, look at this. Look at how short I cut my bangs. Like, give it like 2.5 to 3 weeks and it'll be at a length I like, and then it's also super uneven, and then I can even it out. So I'm just going to use those until my bangs grow back in. This is going to be my finished look. So I am very sorry that the bronzing balm footage got cut out. I still don't know what's going on, nor can I afford to get a new camera right now. So I'm just working with this for the time being. It's really not the situation I really want to be in. Yeah, I wish my lashes were a little bit more prominent for this video. I was expecting them to be, but this mascara is dry, so I'll fiddle around with this off camera. I'll see if Duraline can revive it, but I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup look. Everything so far I've been really happy with, so I will of course continue to mess around with it. Hopefully I can bring back speed reviews before the start of 2024, and then I can give you guys my updated thoughts on all the products I used in this video that are new. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed the look, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, please let me know if you have any thoughts or questions in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, take care. Bye bye!